and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and this is a reading for all Virgos out there. It's a Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising Virgos. If you don't know your Rising, your Moon and your Venus, then I will put a link to a free astro birth chart in the description down below, along with my email for anybody who's interested in getting a personal private reading with me. I have laid the cards out already because I'm finding it's taking too long to shuffle and read the cards at the same time. So the first card that I got for you today, Virgo, is this card here. These cards are done by Tony Carmine Salerno, and they are the Namaste cards. I'll show you the box. That's the Namaste cards there. They're a bit glary, I'm afraid. That's the cards. And I will be following the reading up with the Greek Mythic Tarot deck, which will be the main bulk of the reading, done by Juliet Sherman Burke, Liz Green together, and is the Greek Mythic Tarot deck. And also I will be ending your reading with the Ask and It Is Given deck by Esther and Jerry Hicks, who channel this amazing entity known as Abraham, who brings in his own philosophy and ideas of life, shall we say. If you don't know who Abraham is, I suggest you go online and check him out. There's plenty of videos out there. But this card today, Virgo, has come out, and it is all about the blessing of oneness. And it says, bring your awareness within and connect with the eternal you. Bring your awareness within and connect with the eternal you. Love, abundance and blessings flow to you. Feel a deep sense of peace. Feel the oneness, the clarity, the perfection and the love that you truly are. So I'd say it's saying to you that you need to go within and find your deeper sense of who you are as an individual, the person that you want to be, which is quite interesting because when I look at the rest of the reading that is coming out here, first card that we have is the Ten of Swords, and the words that came out for me with this card when it first appeared was, the darkness is over. The darkness is over, Virgo. Whatever mental turmoil you have been going through, whatever nightmare feelings of this is never going to end, this is just going to go on forever, I see no light at the end of the tunnel, or your fears, or your worries, or your stress, this feeling of just sheer and utter exhaustion. But if you look, these swords are no longer pointing at you. The swords are all pointing down into the ground. So it's saying that this has finished. This is complete. This cycle has been completed. And it could be that you've found some help. You've got the sun in the background here. If you can see the sun just here, where it's coming up behind, it's saying a new day is dawning for you here. So let go of this situation mentally, because something has changed. You may not be aware of the fact that it's changed yet, but something has changed. And that is tied in nicely with what's in your head, and what you're aware of is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is literally leaving the darkness behind, lighting the way into his new future. Because it's a page, it's a card that needs to be nurtured. It's a childlike energy. All the pages are childlike energies. They're young, they need taking care of, they need to be guided along the way. But it is an energy of something fresh, shall we say, something that has kind of stirred you into action. Because it's a wand, it's creativity, it's movement, it's saying it's time to get out of that situation that you were in, with the 10 of Swords here at the heart of your reading, and it's time to go beyond it. It's time to move past that. And another thing that I tend to find with the Page of Wands is as well that we do tend to, once we get out of a situation and we have an idea of where we're heading towards, we know where we want to be, we can kind of try and force something to happen before it's ready. So there is also a need here to kind of not just go from A to B and just expect not to, you know, it's like rushing. You're at point A and you want to get to point B, but along the way, you know, there could be many different roads that you have to go down to get to point B. And if you don't kind of give yourself that time in order to get to point B, it's the journey, really, rather than the destination. So don't rush it, although there is a need here for, it is fast forward movement, it is movement, it is saying that something has changed. Again, you've got the sun coming up in the background, so there is movement here. But at the same time, don't ignore other things that might want to come in that could be important, just because you've got your mindset on where you want to be. There could be other situations, other possibilities that will come in. And at the bottom of all this, you have the Empress, which I don't know, it's very glary. It's not looking very, it's a bit difficult. I'm sorry, it's a bit difficult to try and get that in focus. But this is the Empress, and the Empress is full of potential and possibilities. And I am kind of getting with this card and the other three cards that this could actually be a situation of somebody out there who is a mother. She might have recently become a mother, and she is having, as all mothers do, problems with our self-belief, which is possibly where this card comes in. This time of, like, you know, when you first have a baby, up for first year, maybe even 2 years of having a baby, there's an awful lot of worry, stress. We wear ourselves out, you know, especially if we're working mothers and we've got everything else, family to think of. And there could be a situation here where other people are trying to tell you what's best, what you personally should be doing for your child, which maybe doesn't go along with what you want to do. So you may find yourself having been in this situation of just constantly not only having to deal with having a new child, but also having a group of people or a family of people, or even authorities telling you what's best for your child, what you should do for your child, rather than you being allowed to trust your instincts, which is what the Empress is all about. She's all about our mothering instincts. It's the Earth Mother knowing, that deep knowing. Or there could be a situation where somebody hasn't felt like they have that knowing, and they've kind of given that power away, and now they're regretting the fact that they've done that. Because we also have the Devil, which has been around for a while, but it's moving out of the situation. But the Devil is a card of fear, very similar to the Ten of Swords here. I liken them to being very kind of similar with the fear elements. The Devil is saying, you know, that we tend to dance to other people's tune. If you see here, these two naked human beings are being held by a leash. They're attached to their own fears, their own darker nature, which they don't want to admit to, they don't want to acknowledge, they don't want to necessarily It's the side of us that we kind of keep hidden, the side of us that we don't want other people to see because we fear what they're going to think about us, what they'll, you know, how we'll upset other people by being who we truly are and who we need to be. And this time in the world is kind of saying that we need to stand up more for who we are and to accept who we are, what makes us happy. And this card here is saying that there could have been this situation with the Empress and the Ten of Swords, where you feel as though you've been in this situation, trapped in this situation of not knowing what's the right thing to do, and you've given your power away to other people. You've allowed other people to control you and to tell you how you should and shouldn't do these things. And there are regrets about this. But like I said, the words that came through was the darkness is behind you, Virgo. You are now moving away from this. The darkness is behind you and you are moving into this new space, this new time, this new beginning of trusting your own instincts, going with what feels right for you. And we also have here the Seven of Pentacles, which is your final card here. And the Seven of Pentacles is saying there is going to be a decision. There's something that's going to be offered. Because if you see here in the Seven of Pentacles, there's an offering being made. But you're not sure whether to trust this offer. You're not sure whether this offer is really just a distraction, whether it's going to take you down a path that you don't necessarily want to go down, which is kind of this card here. So it's saying think about this before you decide to accept the offer or not to accept the offer. Think about it carefully. Don't just dismiss it out of hand, because it could be something that is kind of divinely inspired. It could be something that's going to lead you onto something greater, something better, something much more rewarding, and it has the potential for growth and growth with the Empress down here. There's a lot of growth there in this card. There's a lot of, it is a potential for you to really come into your own, I feel, on some level. Really find that kind of instinctual part of yourself that you can trust, which is what the Devil card is saying here. Because, a lot of people will tell us that we're wrong to trust our instincts. We have to go with our logic, which is why the Devil has always been seen as this kind of, nature. And it kind of really represents this, if you see here, he's kind of a fawn, a dancing fawn, satyr, who, we can't control our nature sometimes, our kind of, our inner urges, whether they be sexual, whether they be, our lust for life, our need for something, our obsessions, our desires, and they can take over us, they can take control of us, and they can kind of cause us more problems than they resolve. But at the same time, if we give our power away to other people and don't trust our own inner instincts, then we are also doing ourselves a disfavour by not going with our instincts. And that can often lead to situations, finding ourselves in situations that we don't want to be in the long run, even though sometimes it feels like giving your power to somebody else is a much easier thing to do, because then you just give away your responsibility as well and just let other people just take that control. But in this situation, it's saying, I feel that there's something that's saying, like, you know, now is time to take that back. If you've given that power and that control away to somebody, it's time to take that back. And I do get the feeling that this reading kind of relates to a situation to do with a mothering instincts, family, children, and somebody who's been kept away from their own power, somebody who's kind of, you know, allowed other people to tell them this is the best way to do this, and this, you know, do it like this, and if you do this, and, like, you know, this is how it's always been done. And at the same time, there's this kind of feeling of, like, you know, real anxiety about it, because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like that's what you should be doing. So I'm going to pull some more cards and see what happens, what the story, how the story unfolds, and we'll get a bit more clarity and a bit more insight. So some answers, please, for the Page of Wands. What's in Virgo's head? What are they aware of? Why are they aware of this? Why are they aware of the Page of Wands? And what is behind it? What's the message in the Page of Wands, please? Universe, Spirit Guides, Spirit Family. And we have the King of Swords. Sorry, that glare is really bad. We have the King of Swords, and he's a very logical person. He is somebody who's going to come at you with logic rather than emotional understanding. It will just be like a barrage of this is how you do it, this is why you do it, don't even question it, I know best. Don't. And this doesn't have to be a man, this can also be a feminine energy as well. This can also be within the female, so it doesn't have to be a man, this can be a woman too. But the energy itself is going to be very masculine in the way that it comes over. It's not going to be kind of more gentle and more nurturing. It's not that kind of energy. It's more the energy of, and it's kind of like the father figure in many ways. We've got the Empress down here, but it's kind of like, you know, I know best, do it like this, don't question it, don't go against me. Otherwise, you know, you're going to have even bigger problems if you try to go against what I'm saying, you know. And this person could have your, you know, your best, or they think they have your best at heart, but that's not necessarily always going to be so, because this person does tend to come very much, like I say, from just the very logical mind. They're not very much in touch with their own emotional realm, shall we say. So it's all, if it's logical, then it's got to be true. If it makes sense, it's got to be true. So if you're trying to fight this person with emotions, or trying to argue with this person with emotions, then you're probably not going to get very far. This person is a person of logic, sense, the mind, somebody who is fair and balanced. They will listen, but at the same time, if it doesn't make sense to them, they will just discard it. They will just go, sorry, I don't understand, it doesn't compute, you know. So there is this sense of needing to, you know, just try and get away from that situation, in the sense of just how can I put it, just maybe not even physically leave this situation, but try and be rational with this person, Don't lose your temper with them. Don't flare up at them, which the Page of Wands can be prone to do. Fiery energy. So just try and stay rational and calm with this person, even if it's not an easy thing to do at the time. It may, in the long run, be the best thing for you to do. So I'm going to put a card over the 10 of Swords, and this is saying that the Ace of Wands has come out. And the Ace is very much about new beginnings, new creative endeavours, bringing the creativity into play with the Empress there. But the 10 of Swords, over the top of the 10 of Swords, I'd say there's a kind of situation here where because the 10 is an ending and the Ace is a new energy that's coming in, this very much says to me that there is going to be this kind of uprush of new energy, and almost like you're going to feel like, you know, I've had enough of this. There can be this like, you know, wanting to explode and just like let it all out, because it seems to me that it's all been very much kind of kept in the dark and hidden and just like, you know, suppressed, and that's kind of what's caused the 10 of Swords to occur here, is by not being listened to and feeling that, you know, you kind of have all these own ideas, if you like, and they're not being allowed to be heard. And so in some ways there's going to be this kind of uprush of energy and this, like, you know, just this almost volcanic outburst. This outburst, which the King of Swords is probably going to find quite difficult to understand, to relate to, because they tend to look at people who have this kind of, you know, outburst type of energy as people who can't control themselves. And the King of Swords is all about controlling himself, not showing the emotions. So over the top of the, I'm going to put another card over the top of the Empress, we have the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is a beautiful card in the sense that it's a nice, slow, easygoing energy. It's somebody who's dependable. It's somebody who's there for you when you need them. It's very earthy, it's very grounded energy. The Knight comes in slowly, and he comes in with his pentacle, and he comes in to say, look, it's all okay. It's all okay. We can solve this problem. Don't worry about it. We can, you know, we can work this out. Because the Empress and the Knight of Pentacles are very similar type of energies in the sense that they're both very earthy, both very grounded, very nurturing, very caring energies, in the sense of they just like to what's the word I'm looking for? They just like to I'm sorry about this glare, is really bad. Really bad. I have to just kind of turn that a wee bit and see if that makes it. Oh, no. There. That's slightly better. Their energies are both very productive. They're both very productive. They both like to produce things. They're both into kind of physical energy. I mean, the Empress kind of, you know, she represents the earth itself and everything that we get from it, all our food, all our everything. I mean, the Empress, the earth, gives us everything we need. It feeds us, clothes us, waters us, you know, gives us beautiful places to go and visit, and to feed our souls as well as our bodies. So the Knight of Pentacles is coming in to say, like, you know, we can work together on this, and this could even be what this Seven of Pentacles here is, this offer that's coming in with the Knight of Pentacles. And I'm going to put a card over the top of the Seven of Pentacles, and it's the Moon card that has arrived in this particular place, and this is your future, this is what's coming in. So there's going to be some confusion here. There is going to be a state of feeling like, do I take this? Is this as good as it seems? Is this really too good to be true? Is it too good to be true? So there will be this state of confusion, and you will feel like you don't have all the information that you need. So really the Moon is saying that there is more to be revealed here. There is more information that has to be given or received or revealed, in the sense of the not knowing. It's a feeling of being kept in the dark, again with this kind of, you know, the Devil here being kept in the dark, and the Moon card kind of represents that subconscious realm, the deeper feelings, the deeper intuition. So it's saying in many ways that there is a situation for you to look within, find your answers from within yourself, because this card kind of relates again to the kind of intuitive psychic realm. I always think of seeds as well with this card, planting seeds, and kind of like, you know, you can't plant a seed in the light and expect it to thrive and grow. The heat will just, you know, if you plant it out in the sun, just put it out in the sun, it's just going to shrivel up and die. Or the birds will take it and eat it. It has to go into the darkness. It has to go into the womb, which is kind of this card here as well. You know, there has to be a period of cycles of time, and allowing ourselves to trust that period of unknowingness. A bit like having a jigsaw puzzle, and you don't have all the pieces, and you're trying to work out what the actual picture is, but some of the major pieces are missing, so you don't really know what it is, so you kind of try and fit those pieces in yourself, in your head. You're trying to think, well, what would go there, and what would it be if it was like that. So this can also be a time of you know, feeling like there's a bit of lunacy. This is why the full moon is known for lunacy as well. You know, it's a time of like not having all the answers. Being kept in the dark can make people feel as though they're going a bit mad sometimes, because they don't have all the information that they need. This is the card of Cancer as well, being the Moon, the crab down here, and the kind of everything that it represents, which is the home, the family, the past, childhood. So there's a lot of situations, a lot of variables, a lot of pieces here that all need to be kind of put together to try and work out the bigger picture. And I have 3 cards left here. I'm going to put one on top of the Devil. And the Devil, you've got the 9 of Pentacles, and this is all about self-esteem, and I think that fits perfectly, absolutely perfectly with this Devil card here, because it's saying, this card to me is saying, don't give your power away, don't dance to other people's tunes, find your own self-esteem, stand up for you. Be proud of who you are, be proud of what you've achieved, be proud. And that's another thing about being a mother as well, that when you're a mother, nobody really sees it as being, you know, something that's, I wouldn't say of value. I mean, everybody loves a baby, but at the same time, you know, the mother kind of gets pushed to the side as being just the mother, you know, and not the fact that the mother is the reason that the baby's there. And the fact that the mother is the one that's going to nurture it, feed it and look after it. And so you know, the baby tends to get all the attention, and the job of being a mother kind of just gets taken for granted. It's just something that we do, you know, mother's mother. That's what you do. So that kind of just gets taken for granted, like I said. So, you know, this is saying to me, give yourself a pat on the back and say, you know, well done. Look what I have achieved. Look what I've managed to do here. Look what I've created for myself. And not just, you know, danced to other people's tunes. It's not about other people. It's about you. It's about you and finding your role in all of this. Okay, 2 last cards. I will put one more over the King of Swords. And you have the Hangman. And the Hangman is saying that there is going to be a need here for sacrifices to be made, which in general, if this is a reading about family and mothering, I tend to get the feeling that this is, that sacrifices do have to be made, and sometimes they have to be made willingly, otherwise they just, things get taken away from us, in the sense of, you know, we can't have all of it all the time. You know, we do, as mothers, we have to sacrifice something, even though today, you know, women are supposed to be this kind of super women kind of energy, you know, that we can do everything. We can nurse, cook, clean, go to work, look after our children, all of that kind of thing. So, but you know, when we put ourselves in these situations and don't kind of say, you know, enough's enough, this is what tends to happen. You know, we end up in this situation of kind of having these moments of just sheer exhaustion and sheer kind of like, you know, I can't do this anymore, doubting ourselves, just feeling that it's all too much. It's all too much. And so this card to me is saying, you know, give yourself some space and look at things in a different way. Try and find some willingness to let things go. Don't try and be all things to all people, because it's not going to work, and you are just going to exhaust yourself in the process. The last card we have here is the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is achieving that family, that happiness, that heart's desire, in the sense of building things up together, sharing your life with somebody else, being a family unit, being contained, being supported, being loved, being helped. And that's what this card is saying, that it is there. You can do this. You can do it. You can achieve this. This is possible for you. And the last card that I pulled was the Hicks, Jerry Hicks and Abraham card, which is saying, there it is, you can see the card here, standing on the side of the beach with the ocean coming in, and it says, why is it taking me so long? The only reason you have not already received what you desire is because you are holding yourself in vibrational pattern that does not match the vibration of your desire. So it's saying, if this is your desire, if this is what you are wanting here, this happy family, everything that your heart desires and longs for, you have to put yourself in a place other than this, because this is the negative situation. This is the opposite of what you want to attract. So if you remember at the very beginning, the words that came through for me here with this card was the darkness is behind you, Virgos. So you need to focus more on your heart's desire. You need to focus on this and not on this. That's what you need to be focusing. That's where you need to put your attention, on this, on your heart's desire, on what you're clearly wanting. Okay? So I hope this was helpful for you, Virgos. My information will be in the description down below, like I said. Thank you for listening, and hopefully see you next time. Take care.